So here's a look at the exclusive kitchen sink collaboration for STAMPtember. One of the things I love about Kitchen Sink is they give you these little preview sheets that really show you the depth and how these work together. And also, check this out. On the back, you get a guide for the multi-stamp look, right? So you can use all the steps. Maybe you just want to do butterflies. You can just use some of the steps, right? Layer in different colors and inks, and for all of the elements, they are numbered and stepped out. So what I want to do today is I want to create a card with the butterfly. And what's cool is you have the background for your floral, and then the butterfly overlays, right? So I'm going to give it a whirl. I've decided to pull colors very similar to this, right? I always like to start out with whatever is going to maximize my success. And so I've got 2 yellows, a light blue, and I pulled Gina K Designs Warm Cocoa for my brown. Before I start stamping, I want this to be a 1-layer card. So I'm going to grab Lemonade, and I'm going to take one of my Simon blending brushes, and I'm actually just gonna kind of wipe that off. I'm just going to load up a little bit here on my brush, and I'm just going to create a soft blend that starts in the center and comes out. This is such easy ink to blend. Oh, look at that glow. It's so glowy. But I think having a glowy center is going to be kind of fun to house my flower and my butterfly. I think this will be fine. And I don't think, no masking is required for something like this. This is just to create a glowy center. And we're going to stamp our blue over the top. But I think that will be okay because yellow and blue make green. So if this ends up sort of greenish, that's going to be okay too. So let's go like that. And my stamp is pretty stained already because I've been playing with this set like crazy. So let's ink this up, get our light blue, and see what happens when it hits that ink. Okay, transfer that, right? Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. Oh, that just creates a beautiful glowy center. Oh, I think we're onto something, people. Okay, on like that. Honestly, even something like a silhouette shape like that, something like that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Okay, going to move on to the next stamp, which is to be, and this is to be or not to be. This is the masking layer, and so I call it a masking layer. It masks off, right, the body, but we're going to pick this up, and we are going to stamp this again with Lemonade. Well, did I get enough? There we go. It's going to frame this out beautifully and still have the glow. See that? See how we're getting our flower there? One more time. And that way it's kind of coming out. The glow is from behind it. Isn't that cool? And now we'll move on to our next layer. And that is going to be 3B, which again, if I'm following the path of least resistance, right, I'm going to take a darker tone. This looks like it's a little more burnt orange or mustardy, but I want to stick with the inks that I'm working with. But now we're going to go in with the mid-tone of this positively saturated yellow, and we're going to stamp this down to get some of that mid-tone detail. This is going to be kind of cool. Again, lined up and press. So it's going to add extra detail into the body of the butterfly too, but it's also going to add the tone coming up on the flowers like that. The next one we're going to come in with is for our last piece, which is the butterfly brown. Once your stamps are stained too, I think it's so much easier to line them up. So when photopolymer stains, don't sweat it. It's totally fine. It just means that you are good to go. I'm going to ink this guy up with my warm cocoa and bring it down and press. And let that transfer. I don't think I'll need to stamp it twice. I think this will be just the right amount. Lift that up, and that, oh, look at how glowy and cool colored that is. And then you've got just your little bit of glow around the edge. Before I stamp my greeting, I'm just going to take my heat it tool and just really make sure the ink is dry before I emboss my greeting. So I want to stamp Ray of Sunshine, but I really want, let's see, I want the Ray of to be positioned first. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I want to get my positioning of Sunshine. Sunshine's going to be in the center, and then I'm going to nestle Ray of in between. So I think that's the right position for Sunshine. And I can actually look on my Misty and look for the line. You know what? That looks pretty straight. I am going to powder this up quite well, even though I'm sure this is dry now. I just really don't want anything to stick to this stamped area. Take our clear ink, right? And I'm probably going to stamp this twice, just because I really want this to get a good coating, because that's a nice big greeting. Stamp it one more time. It didn't move at all. All right. Go like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my powder on, and it doesn't even have to be on there perfectly. Like, I can tap a bunch of it off, because what I want to do is I want to nestle Ray of right like that. Pick that up, and we'll stamp that twice too. I don't want this to lift and put any powder underneath Ray. Like when you lift up the paper and maybe it like has a little recoil. No, perfect. And again, stamp that down. And now I have a perfectly nested greeting. Put that on the top part. And then I can put more on that too, like that. So that gives me the coating that I was looking for. See that? Ah! Isn't that fun? Takes a while to get this friend going, but once it gets going, once it gets warm enough, it will melt that powder beautifully. There we go. There we go. It's harder to see though. Can you see that? Like I don't know if I'm supposed to be angling it a certain way. Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous. Someone in a comment told me you just have to get it hot. And once you get it really hot, then it's beautiful. I'm just going to run this all over. Oh my goodness gracious. Can you see? Look at that beautiful shine, the warmth of that greeting. All right, we're going to trim this down just to kind of frame that out. One of the reasons I also love, love, love these layer dies is if there's any warping to your cardstock, it helps to flatten it out. So I'm just trying to get this from side to side. Make sure that's flush with the baseline. Tape that down, and we'll run this through my die cut machine. I'll just pop this on the platform, tilt it at a bit of an angle. As I have learned, it makes it easier on your plates and you're less likely to have that big bump, right? We're going to cut this out. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Isn't that cool? All right, let me grab my cardstock ring so I can figure out which color cardstock base would look best with this. I love having these because it really does help me to pick a cardstock base that would look beautiful. And I either think Audrey Blue would be nice to pick up that blue, or you know what? Just go with Warm Cocoa. Warm Cocoa for a very fall earth-toned card. What would be your gut reaction? I think I like the Warm Cocoa. All right, I'm gonna get the Warm Cocoa cardstock. Dark chocolate would also work, but I don't have any of that right now from Simon Says Stamp in my stash. I need to place a cardstock order. Put that right in the center there so I can see what I'm doing. Grab my panel. Now I've put some foam tape on the back. Also, the foam tape helps to flatten out any warping that you might have gotten during the process. Fun foam works too. I just like this tape, and I have a ginormous, well, it's not ginormous anymore. And just pop that down. Oh, I think this is such a sweet card. My nails look good with it too. That is the finished card project. Although I don't think I'm going to put any shine on this. Sometimes I think it's just nice, although you know what? I mean, when in Rome, you know what? It might not work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you just don't have, unless that was the work. But see, I don't like that. It feels disconnected. What if it was just surrounding the butterfly? Ooh, ooh, because the butterfly, right, has motion. We got a flyer here, and then that, oh, that's kind of cute up there. And then we don't even worry about the bottom. I'm going to. I'm committing. I'm a sucker for a little shine, although I still feel like this isn't quite in the right place, right? Because you got that, your little flower, and maybe that needs to be a little more devil may care. Okay. You always got to talk to yourself while you're doing this because you never know. Let's get it down. Let's go. That was almost an inaudible boop. 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 Yeah, I think that's cute. Boop. And that is the finished card. So there's lots you can do. I mean, I just started out by following, you know, the look of, I'll show you a couple other ones that I stamped. I did something like that with blues that I haven't done anything with. I tried something that I was going to do, and then I ditched it, where I literally masked off the inside so that I could separate those colors, but then there wasn't enough detail in here. I did one with just green, but then I thought, wait a minute, flowers aren't green. So I was getting confused. And I've been playing with this all day, but I love how that turned out. Be sure to check this set out. This is just one of the layering stamps in the set. Of course, there are coordinating dies as well. You can find all the links for this card below. And remember, this is an exclusive STAMPtember collaboration. So when this set is gone for this current calendar year, baby, it's gone.